fossil fuel delegation. We are here because we want the Commission on Sustainable Development to acknowledge the extraction of fossil fuels is not a sustainable form of energy.
Most Americans think electricity comes from the electricity ferry. Well, I got news for you. There's no such thing as an electricity ferry. The truth is, coal is dirty. It's filthy. And even if we could get marshmallows and rose petals to come out of the smokestacks, if you can't dig it clean, you can't burn it clean. And that's the truth.
It's about empowering people to know that if I can walk into the United Nations and address this delegation of representatives from the United States Department of Energy and the United States State Department, surely I can walk into the West Virginia State Capitol and walk right up to the governor, because I've been to the United Nations. I think we've been operating in terms of pairs, but just make sure everybody is going in a pair, so that we're pushing each other to take advantage of the time we have here. The UN Commission on Sustainable Development is the avenue available to grassroots people to participate in international policy development. So the UN delegation was a very significant piece of my Compton year. A few other people in the region had been attending the Commission on Sustainable Development for a few years, and I found out about their participation at the UN and wanted to include people who are impacted directly by the coal industry. So we organized grassroots people in Appalachia to speak for themselves and to testify at the UN. Steve, my mentor, was incredibly supportive, and from the get-go, we established our relationship as a peer relationship, which was empowering.
But really, I think what Tricia needed more than anything was space, and then just to have conversation to make sure that her ideas were either on or where that idea needed to be refined. Yeah, this year Tricia's bringing everybody back, and the fact that she's doing it a year after her fellowship now, I think is something that people are really proud of, including myself. They're really proud of Tricia for following up in a way that is beyond what I think anybody would expect. She's out of her fellowship, and the work is continuing.
I'd like to suggest that one of those points be geared toward extraction, and I think that tags on perfectly with the ethics of what we're dealing with in terms of what voices have not been considered in the debate on climate change and industrial development. That's the people who live where fossil fuels are being extracted. I started off thinking that my value was academic, and maybe that was because I knew once I really got deep into an issue that that would be it, and wanting to stay a little distant. So the Compton didn't let me do that. By about January, I knew that the end of this project would not be in July, and the end of this project would not be a booklet, but that this was my calling. So if you could come up and over to Pike County and support people there, that'd be really great. Do you think you can make it to the protest? I think the freedom and the autonomy of the Compton, the lack of supervision, really. When you don't have anyone, when you don't have that immediate supervision, all you have to turn to are your own values and these principles of organizing that I feel like I was well versed in, but had never practiced. When I was in college, there was no way I could have known what this community really needs. And every day I learn a little bit more, but at the same time, now where I am, I have to step back from that and say, my priority and my job now is to develop leaders who live here. I really hope, that everybody can know what it feels like to be this fulfilled. To know you're needed in a place and to know you can do something good. You can do something good.